Good afternoon to you. I want to look at the situation of those who face a real diatribe, that is a real anger episode, or though you're assailed and the social media become the scaffolding and you're wondering what hit you and everybody is accusing you. And issue is that you might get accused of something you did, or you might get accused of something you didn't. So when people start accusing, they don't always verify the truth, and they can use falsehood to slander you, malign you, or they can use a truth or a half-truth to malign and slander you. So how do you get into a counsel of peace on an issue like that? So point number one, when assailed by unjust criticism, we should have that counsel of peace, that inner counsel of peace that flows like a river inside you. There's a promise by a good shepherd who said, I will lead you in green pastures and I will lead you by still waters, without turbulence, without coloring, without muck and murk. Point number two, separate the facts from the diatribe. So when you have to face up to it, people will use all kinds of rage tactics to get you upset, find you on the wrong footing, make you feel intimidated and feel wounded and vulnerable. Then sepsis sets in when you are wounded, flies settle on it. So separate what is fact and what is just the reaction of people. Otherwise you will be dealing with everything at the same time. Point number three, apologize and ask forgiveness for where you were wrong. That's the place to begin on the counsel of peace. Admit quickly, this is what is wrong. Good Shepherd said, agree with your adversary. Admit quickly what was wrong and then clarify what is unjust or fake in that allegation. Point number four, check out if your turn for receiving evil is because you did the same to someone else. It's a time of trading in evil, trading in mistrust, blame transferring, pointing the finger. Wherever you are harsh to someone on third-party information on social media, remember a time for your return of just deserts may come. So you get a return in kind, where you have indulged in the same. When people attack you on unverifiable stories, you need to do a little fact check on your track record of how you have assailed others on unverifiable stories. Point number five, remember we all have assailable vulnerabilities also, so we can't be on deniable mode. So before you get on to attacking someone else, remember we all have places at which we can be assailed and we may be found fault with. Point number six, so the common saying is those who are in glass homes must not throw stones. That's the old saying. Point number six, be merciful to people at the receiving end of an attack because your day may come for the same. One minute. Take care that be merciful to people at the receiving end of an attack and mudslinging campaigns. Whether the person is guilty of mud or not, what goes around comes around. Your day also may come for you to get in return what you have given others. Point number six, ask vindication from the false allegation. Point number eight, do not return tit for tat and retaliate in kind. Point number nine, you cannot win a moral battle with immoral weapons. So when others are doing dirty, don't resort to the same tactics. I'll repeat it, you cannot win a moral battle with immoral weapons. So if you want to fight it clean, don't resort to the things others are doing. Point number 10, if you can bless them that curse you, do good to them that wrongfully use you, you will overcome acid with alkali. So don't return in kind, overcome acid with alkali. So the Good Shepherd said he will lead us in green pastures without thorns, and he will lead us by still waters without turbulence. And he promised he will lead us on a straight track, avoiding the pitfalls, avoiding boulders, rough shoulders, and he called it a path of righteousness for his name's sake. And even when we are going through a very perilous time, he said his staff will lead us on. This concept of the staff comes from a shepherd, because the shepherd has usually about 100 sheep to look after, and shepherd looks after them more by sound more than by sight, because 100 sheep can hear one shepherd. So what he leads them into a green pasture, and he walks around the territory, around the 100, the area they love to scatter during their pasture land. And then every 2 to 3 hours he does a walk around the sheep, and they think that is the fence, because sheep do not test the fence. And who are the ones who test the fence? The goats. If you tell goat this is a fence, or he sees a fence, he wants to knock on it with his head and break it down. So the sheep are attuned to listening to the shepherd's voice. So what the shepherd does is, he makes a cooing sound like the mother ewe, the pregnant sheep or the mother sheep, and sheep hear that and understand, hear that and recognize it. Even if a sheep gets lost in a bit of a jungle patch, the shepherd makes that sound as he goes, looking for the sheep, and the sheep hears that sound. It's not a jungle sound, but a shepherd sound. And then the sheep will hear that and return a similar mew mew that the shepherd recognizes where the sheep has fallen, and he will go, leaving 99, he will go after the one to pick him up. That's the shepherd behavior. And my sheep hear my voice. That was the promise of the Good Shepherd. It has a bilateral application. Whenever you're in trouble, wherever you are, you will hear the voice of the Good Shepherd. So remember him in your triumph and prosperity, because the day of trial and adversity comes to all. So my sheep hear my voice, which means shepherd makes it clear that he will never leave them nor forsake them. His voice will be heard. Secondly, reciprocally, the sheep are those who can hear the shepherd and obey the shepherd. That's the offer. So when the going is great, everybody does their own thing. But when the going is not great, we do need a voice to guide us and lead us. So, it's wonderful to practice the Counsel of Peace, where your defense does not come from unpredictable men. So there's a Good Shepherd who will look after you, care for you, keep you safe, and his voice will not let you stumble, tumble. That's the voice that picks up. That's why he's called the Good Shepherd. All this is greatly enhanced if you know the Prince of Peace, the Lord Jesus, who endured all the insults and sufferings of the cross. So whenever you are assailed unjustly, just remember how the innocent one was assailed so badly with whips, with thorns, with insults, with spit, and he took the insults and sufferings of the cross. So that's why some people say, this is my cross. Which sufferings were what man inflicted on man. He took it upon himself vicariously on our behalf, that we will not behave like that anymore, not return in kind. That's the idea of forgiveness. Jesus has a counsel of peace that the world cannot give. Peace that surpasses understanding. You only have to say, come into my heart, Lord Jesus. So I want to draw some character types from this. One is those who always want to respond to sad, sorrowful situations like therapists. And they try to see something wrong in everything so that they can be the helper. So you need to take God from it, because you will have a world view of everybody else is wrong, I have to fix it. You need to take God over it. Secondly, there are people who growl like bears over those who are less than us, and then our turn comes to mourn like doves, because when a bear is on us and against us, then the turn comes for our mourning. So here's a little story I want to read. There was this person, in fact Peter, was sleeping between two soldiers bound with two chains, and guards in front of the door were watching over the prison. Then the good shepherd sent action, and appeared a light shone in the cell. He struck Peter's side and woke him up, saying, "Get up quickly." His chains fell off his hands. So this may be a personal situation, maybe a Sri Lanka situation. We feel as if our country's destiny, future, is in a prison house with all kinds of barred deaths and other susceptibilities, other vulnerabilities all around. And we need a word to hear. Get up quickly, and then chains fall off, and then gird yourself. So we get ready for a new journey, put on your sandals, get ready for a new walk. And he did so. Wrap your cloak around you and follow me. So this is the offer we have. Then the iron gates opened up, you are out of the prison house. So consider this counsel of peace that leads you from the inside, and your response, not your reaction, your response would be peaceable, will be from the Counsel of Peace. Then I have to speak to parents on this. Always use encouragement and the reward motive to encourage children to do better. The rebuke and the castigation motive will frame in them a mind which is defeatist. Don't keep repeating where they fail. Pitch forward how much better they can do. Appeal to the reward motive, which is very strong and consistent, and they see improvement, they hear improvement. When you refer to their past error, they look back and they see defeat and put down. So use the reward motive in children for them to do better and climb greater heights. A reward motive is a strong one in human beings, and appeal to that and sharp tune that and encourage, stimulate the reward motive. Do better than projecting this will happen, that will happen, you will fail, and it will be a dirty shame. And last time also I told you, don't keep referring to a failed past, imagine failure, but the human beings need to work with the reward motive of how much more there is from the Good Shepherd. I trust this is helpful to you in facing up to failure, facing up to diatribes, and being at the receiving end of unjust accusation, and when social media becomes the scaffolding to hang you on a kangaroo court where you have hardly any defense. I hope this would be an encouragement and a help to you.